Chagudi ng Singapore. Hello sis, good evening. Kumusta? Okay lang. Kumusta dira? Alimuot. Alimuot dira sa Pinas. I think dira sa asa ka sa Singapore sis? I miss Singapore actually. Let me just share the live. Hello, who's there? Please, let me know. Who else is there? We got four right now. Four people right now. Sorry, masakit yung puso ko, guys. But, yeah. Carrie. Why is it cold? It's cold right now. Let me just... Tara, usap tayo. Do you want to do the other game, darling?
Sorry?
I think there's another card there.
Right.
It's called the Genius one. Can you get it, please? He didn't hear me. Obviously. Darling, you got your shirt. No. One moment, guys. It's not really even.
Oh. Good evening, everybody. Been warm today. I've got someone from Singapore. Well done.
Oh,
Yes. Been warm here in Cebu in the Philippines today. Very
wow.
warm.
Excuse me.
Yeah, ask us anything.
How about you, darling? What's the answer?
Why do I like to travel after pandemic? Well, apart from obvious nipping back to UK to sort a few things out, yeah, go to Australia, see Australian friends on YouTube, see what's all this about the bottle shops. Also, I'd like to go to more Filipino islands like Leyte, Samor. Go and see my friend in Luzon in Tarlac. Very interesting. The airlines are starting to fly. Emirates is starting to fly again.
When?
Today, Emirates has started to fly. I've had several emails from Emirates saying that they're flying from Australia to England.
Uh,
Um,
no, this is a bad.
having said that, a lot of countries, if you go there at the moment, you'll have to do a 14-day quarantine.
No.
But there is some suggestion that if you've got an immunity test and you've had coronavirus and you've got a certificate, you might not have to do quarantine. That's in some of the countries. So shocked to see.
Well, they want the disease to spread or what? Spread or what?
Sorry, darling?
Why would they not put the people in quarantine, those that are positive?
Well, what I'm saying is there's some suggestion you don't have to do quarantine if you can prove that you've had it and you've got immune and therefore you can't
Right, you've had it. I think you're still positive.
No, you've had it. The antibiotics won't really show up till 2 weeks after you've had all the symptoms. So what they're saying is don't have an antibody test until 2 weeks after you've had the last symptom of the virus, because otherwise it doesn't show up.
Oh, really?
So we need a few more people. We're going to play a game.
We're not playing games.
Oh, we're not playing games now, right? Oh.
We're just trying to have a chit chat with them if they,
Chit chat. Anyone wants to know about England or Philippines or dating a foreigner or dating a Filipino if you're a foreigner?
You should try to get your foreigner friends to
Yes.
join him.
Yeah.
Which one would go? Well, you don't have many single friends, do you?
Oh. Jason, John Hawkes,
Who else?
Richie's single.
Yeah, well, she's got somebody.
I don't think he's got anybody at the moment.
So they broke up with her, with his girlfriend.
He broke up with the girlfriend.
Why is that? Or does it think you don't have to answer that. Because it's private. I thought he's got back with his wife. I mean, he's got back with his wife, ex-wife. Or is it ex-wife or the mother of his child?
Well, there we are, Samuel. I've just had an email, Samuel, that from Emirates saying that they're flying from Australia to the UK starting today. I don't know what airports in Australia Emirates fly to. I would guess Sydney's almost certainly one.
So you have an amazing time. It seems that every time I go on YouTube, you are doing the live stream.
Coincidence.
Well, it's just normally at this time we do the live stream. We were supposed to do the live stream last night, but I wasn't really up to it. I was tired. So tonight I'm a bit tired as well. Just do it because they said we're gonna go live. So even though we might not have much, none of viewers, but there you go.
So there we are. We've got someone from Singapore.
You can have a one-on-one talk with Nigel. Do you have any plans of I wonder who's got plans of migrating to the UK? Knowing that he's got a family back there.
I don't know. So, have we got a delay on the messages?
I don't know. I have to close this.
It's been very hot in Cebu today, and sometimes very hot. The internet doesn't work as well.
What has it got to do with the temperature?
Because the hotter it is, the higher up the ionosphere is, and the ionosphere bounces off radio waves.
Do you agree with that, Samuel?
He does political science.
Well, although he's in Poli, but he's got vast knowledge. You see.
Well, him and Google.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got someone from Singapore, we've got someone from Australia. Whereabouts in the Philippines are the rest of you from?
I don't know. I don't see any comment there.
No.
I think they're just
Watching. That's fine. Watch away. I thought it was going to rain today, but it didn't rain. I wish I had it done because the rain makes the air cooler, washes away the dust. Mind you, the dust in Cebu has dropped dramatically since the lockdown. The dust and the pollution, well, around the world has dropped dramatically because of the lockdown. So it's one good thing.
Yeah. I wish we could get a music one. Let's have our music from the audio library.
Oh, drop of water. Well, in Filipino, tubing. Well, no messages.
I don't know. Let's get my...
Have you got anything open on this, Donna?
We have a look. This one. Should be better now. Let me try. Like.
Thumbs up. Well, it's a bit one way at the moment. No messages coming in. It's probably the internet.
I don't know why I can't post the groups. Well, anyway, just stop there, darling, and then
All right.
I'll share.
So my wife's going to share with some groups, see if we get a few more people on.
Nothing.
Well, no messages.
Say hi, hello, something.
Yeah, say hello, say hi, ask a question, anything you like. I'll ask about England or Cebu.
So what's that thing that you were watching earlier?
I was watching some stupid Trump woman saying about coronavirus being a hoax, basically.
Host.
Hoax.
Hoax. What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of Americans disagree with the lockdown and think that it's unnecessary.
What's unnecessary?
The lockdown. They'd rather have no lockdown and just have a few more people dead.
Really?
Yeah. There is an argument for that. It all depends what price you put on old people's lives.
Indeed.
But of course, the major reason we've had the lockdown isn't because people don't want to lose a few old people. It's because they don't want the hospitals overwhelmed. But of course, what's happened is they've scared everybody, so nobody's gone to the hospital. The hospitals haven't been overwhelmed, but people have died of heart attacks, asthma, cancer, strokes at home. So the excess deaths have shot up, and that's a fact. Wherever you've had a lockdown, you've had excessive deaths. But a couple of places, the hospital system has collapsed. Iran, Ecuador, and North Italy are three places.
What's that thing in Brazil?
Oh, in Brazil, yes, Brazil's got a terrible problem. But that's because the president there is opposed to lockdown and the governors are pro-lockdown, and they've got almost a civil war between the
what's
local
opposed?
government.
The government is opposed, and then?
Right, the president is opposed to lockdown, and he thinks we should just let people die, and the governors want to have lockdown, but you've got a lot of poverty in Brazil. You've got the favelas where a lot of people live in, well, I call them slums, but the polite word is informal housing. So, I think there's something wrong. Hello, please make a comment so we know you're there. I apologise for the internet being slow.
Or just stop there.
But even if it takes 5 minutes to come through, then at least I can answer your question. So yes, I'm looking forward to getting out of the house. I've been trapped in the house since March the 13th. Well, not exactly trapped in the house because I sit in the garden in the fresh air, get
but then,
sunlight.
I think someone. Why can't I see there? But I see
Can you see messages on your phone, darling?
I'm not sure. What was I gonna say? I mean, you reach to that point that you have enough rain.
Yeah. So I sit in the garden in the fresh air every day, and sunlight, get vitamin D. My legs are very brown, my arms are very brown. So I must look like a patchwork quilt. And then about 7:30 at night, I go for a walk outside the house, probably walk about 400 meters altogether, inside the subdivision. Oh, here we are.
Why I can't just like the UK opening up? They still have so many cases. What was the point of going into lockdown? 2 months later, you open up and have another large outbreak. That's the point. That's exactly the point. You know, people get crazy when the lockdown is
Right.
lifted.
Okay, I'll answer your question, Samuel. The country's got no choice about opening up because we'll go bust. In April, we borrowed £64,000 million. We borrowed as much in April as we borrowed a whole year. The country can't afford to stay locked down forever. Plus, there's the issue of mental health and all sorts of issues. The hospitals now are only at about 20% capacity. So we can afford for the cases to go up. We can afford for more people to go to the hospital. So it's a balancing act. It's a bit of a seesaw act, Samuel. So what the UK will do, will open up a bit and see how the figures go. And if so it's a bit like a feedback mechanism. So the idea behind it is that, and then the other thing as well is we're introducing is they're going to have very belatedly what Korea and Taiwan have done, which is a track and trace. And I think Australia did it as well. So from 1st of June, we'll have 24,000 people and they'll be tracking and tracing the cases. So if I came down with the virus, then they say who the people you've met, and I'd have to stay at home for 14 days. And then all the people I've met would also have to stay at home for 7 days. And if they got the virus, then they have to stay at home for another 14 days. So the idea is that now the cases have come down, they're going to institute track and trace and try and keep the cases down. But until there is a virus, then it's going to be endemic. So in other words, there will be cases that what they are hoping is that with track, trace and isolate, they can keep the cases down and do what Korea or Taiwan have done.
They say if the R number is below 1, but surely once you open up, you will get a large spike in cases.
Well, if you gradually open up, then the R number will go up. But if they can keep the R number to 1 or below 1 and then do track, trace and isolate, then they can drive it down. So I think the basic philosophy is they've got themselves out of way away from the peak of the epidemic, which is April the 8th in UK, and then they just try and keep it at a very low level and live with it. And so as they're opening up, there's all sorts of things. The hand sanitizer everywhere, keeping 2 meters distance, screens, face masks, gloves, lot more activity. Plus, of course, some people have got it, and they're saying 17% of people have got it in London. And so you will have a damping effect by, if you've had it, then you can't give it to someone else. So this lockdown is really about getting past the first spike and also kicking the can down towards having a virus. I hear mixed messages about the virus, whether we're going to have a virus that works. We shall have to see.
What do you mean? You mean vaccine?
Yeah, vaccine. Sorry, a vaccine that works. Yeah, we know the virus works. Stupid Freudian slip. So we shall have to see. But also as
When do
well,
you think it's gonna come out?
also if you look at the world in data, which has got some wonderful graphs, and you look at all the 7-day rolling averages, then the majority of countries, with the possible exception of Brazil, have already peaked and it's starting to come down. And I have a slight.
So they say we are in a second wave now.
Well, we're not in a second wave, because the second wave is when you get another pandemic and it rises exponentially. So we're past the first wave, but the imponderable, and we won't know until we've got massive antibody testing, is what percentage of the population have had it. But it's interesting times.
Yeah. It's going to be a very memorable one.
Well, everyone will remember this. It's like living through a world war. Everyone will remember it.
Well, would you rather live in a living like this or in a war? I'm fine with this.
Well, yeah.
But yeah.
But don't forget, darling, there's hundreds of millions of people who are starving, who haven't got food, and people who can't work, rely on earning money for the day to buy the food. They're in big trouble around the world.
Oh, yeah.
So the world's got to open up and just live with the virus. So
that makes sense. But...
yeah. So we will see everywhere opening up. We'll see people taking a lot of precautions. Also, we're coming into the summer, and then the other thing, which is definite, is the virus doesn't live outside. It doesn't do well outside. It's much safer being outside than inside. And of course, the big meetings, the big sports meetings, the music concerts, we're not going to see any of those until after the vaccine comes. And
which is what?
Well, mass vaccination won't be here till next year, but I think we might see some vaccines in the autumn, which is a miracle. Normally it takes years to get a vaccine, and many years. So they seem to be short-circuiting, but there's no proof the vaccine's going to come.
No. Hoping support, well, super is. Hoping they're not soon. But yeah, you know, I guess they. It's getting boring now, isn't it?
The lockdown is getting boring for everybody. That's why once it's released, the mad rush.
Yes. But still, really, it's still not advisable, even if the lockdown is lifted. Still not advisable to flock outside if you don't need really to go outside.
What about politics, Sam? Well, you want to talk about politics? Not a problem.
Yeah, since you didn't have
But the idea behind opening up everywhere is to do it gradually and open up, see what happens, relax a bit more, see what happens. Then if cases really spike, well, then you have to stop the speed, lock them up again, or do this track, trace and isolate. Which in the UK, the British government's put in a lot of faith in.
So they were asking me about if somebody has supplied you food. What do they give it for free or what? Yeah, they give it for free.
What's that?
The food. Food.
Right. Sam was asked about Joe Swinson, who was the leader of the third party in the UK, the Liberal Democrats, and in the last election she lost her seat. Well, there's two issues for any politician who's standing for election. One is, how popular is your party? And that will overshadow everything. So if you were like Joe Swinson in a bit of a marginal seat, and of course she was in Scotland where the Scottish nationalists are doing very, very well, then you can get blown away, not because you're not a good candidate, but because the tide is against your party in general. But also there's the other issue, of course, is how popular are you as a local MP? And I don't think she'd been a local MP for fairly long, and she'd built up a big following. And no, she hadn't built up a big following. I mean, in the UK, we've had some very, very famous politicians who've had a tremendous following, Beast of Bolsover that was his nickname. Dennis Skinner comes to mind. He was MP there for about 50 years. He got a tremendous following, and it was a Labour seat, but it always had been a Labour seat. But when he didn't stand at the last general election just before Christmas, then the seat just got blown away because the tide was against Labour dramatically, and also the local MP, people would have voted for Dennis Skinner, come what may, but he wasn't there, and so the personal following went as well. So you do find politicians build up a personal following, especially if you're, famous or prime minister, and you have a big personal vote. So Jo Swinson, I don't think she was unpopular in herself. I think she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Liberal Democrats didn't do well. They got squeezed, as was always a danger of being a third party. And she was in Scotland, where the Scottish nationalists have been very resurgent. And she hadn't been in the seat very long. Unlucky.
How old is she?
Not very old. In politics, you've got to be a bit lucky. Right time, right place.
For how long has she been in politics?
Not very long. Was an established figure. The other thing, Samuel, of course, is you can think you can like people, but that doesn't mean to say that their constituents are going to like them. And a lot depends on, there are some MPs that have got a big following. Boris has got a big following because he's charismatic.
Which is was your favorite prime minister?
Who's my favourite prime minister? Well, Samuel, you're the only person that's.
I don't know. Some people are just watching but not really making a comment.
No, you're the only one that's making comments, Samuel.
It says 4 in the screen, so I don't know.
Yeah, now as regards, most of us asking who our favourite prime minister is. Margaret Thatcher was outstandingly good, very good Prime Minister.
She's still alive.
No, Margaret
No,
Thatcher's dead. Yeah, she got Alzheimer's. It's a peculiar thing. A lot of Prime Ministers end up with Alzheimer's. Howard Wilson had Alzheimer's as well. Then Winston Churchill was a fantastic war leader in the 1940 to 1945. But of course, he was very old by the time he got back in for the last time, and then he had a stroke. But Winston Churchill was very successful as a war leader in the Second World War. Clement Attlee was very underrated. He was, of course, the first. No, we don't, Samuel. We don't go to bed till about 4 a.m. because of the crazy lockdown. We go to bed about.
Sleeping habit.
Yeah, we got into UK hours, so we're running on GMT time, so that's not a problem. Clement Attlee, Winston Churchill said of him two things that come to mind: a modest man with much to be modest about, and then the other comment he made was a taxi turned up at number 10, which was 10 Downing Street, with nobody in, and Clement Attlee got out. Winston Churchill's quotes are fantastic. If you're into political science, then Winston Churchill's quotes are wonderful. But of course, Winston Churchill got a Nobel Prize for literature because he wrote the history of the English-speaking countries. And of course, he was a marvelous orator. I mean, his Winston Churchill's speeches were outstanding. Somebody who made a very outstanding speech, and it's on YouTube, and it's well worth listening to, is Hilary Benn. And Hilary Benn is a very senior Labour politician, and his father was a very famous politician who I met, Anthony Wedgwood Benn. And he comes from a very famous family. But Hilary Benn's speech in the House of Commons, it was about bombing Syria, was outstanding. He got applause after that, which is almost unheard of in the House of Commons. But I've heard a lot of British politicians speak, and I've met a lot of them. And when you hear them speak, you realise why they're politicians, and you know they speak very nicely.
I really like that guy. What's that? Smog. Oh,
yeah, William Rees-Mogg. Now, William Rees-Mogg, of course, his father was the editor of the Times.
Editor of the Times? Is that an English paper?
Yeah, the Times is the famous English paper. It's the top English paper. So to be editor of the Times is quite outstanding.
Well, no wonder he's got it from his father.
Well, yes. Yes, so yes. He comes from a very clever family. So I wonder if Samuel will go into politics.
Interesting.
Well, be a journalist, political journalist, or political researcher.
What's the term?
Or get a proper job.
I don't know why it's delayed, because in my other... Oh, it says, I don't know whether... I don't know what else to ask you. If there is anyone else watching, please ask them a question.
Oh, run out of questions.
It's over.
Now, for some reason tonight we haven't got an audience. We always get a good audience for games. We get a good audience for games, but I think we're down to. There we are. I think you're the only one watching, Samuel.
Politics is a proper job, he said.
Oh, it's coming through on there.
Yeah, I see it from my other phone, but not here on the screen. He said.
Right. Oh, there we are. It's a delay.
It's so delayed in here, but yeah, it's
good for you, Samuel. I only said that to provoke a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from the joke, there's a serious point. A lot of people do degrees which are very interesting and great fun, but the question is, can you then put them to use in a job? Now, I was fortunate. My degree was pharmacy, so it wasn't difficult for me to join the pharmaceutical industry. I joined the pharmaceutical industry, and I was going to go into marketing. My first job was a rep, and I was calling on doctors and pharmacists in Manchester, and I thought these pharmacists aren't paid right, so I thought, well, I could do better than they could. So I decided to become a community pharmacist rather than work in the pharmaceutical industry. Pharmacy did very well for.
Did you get lost?
Community pharmacy did very well for me, and I made good money in community pharmacy.
What does community pharmacy?
That means,
like a public?
It means a chemist shop in the public. Yes, not working for the industry, not working in the hospital.
All right.
And then I had a late career in teaching, consultancy, and advocacy and pharmaceutical law. And so I've had this second late career, and I'm still doing it now remotely. Even with the lockdown, I'm doing some work for some doctors in the UK. So, yeah, but of course I got a vocational degree, so I could walk into a job using my degree in pharmacy. In political science, it's a little bit more difficult, but you're a very bright man. I'm sure you'll do very well, and I wish you well with your career. If I can't get a job, maybe I will join the church. Well, of course, in medieval times, if you were an aristocrat, the son would take over the lands. The next son down would join the army, and the third son would join the church. Because, of course, in medieval times, rectors got paid lots of money. And in fact, it was called a living. So if you were
I think it is until now.
if you were a clergyman, you'd have a living. And Oxford University and Cambridge University used to have a lot of livings to give away. And so if you were a fellow in Oxford or Cambridge University and you wanted to get married, then you weren't allowed to stay in the university. So they found you a nice little church somewhere with a living. And as a result, there's quite a lot of Church of England parishes that have a rectory, and the rector that lives in there, and his salary was paid by Oxford University. And if you go to, give you an example, my local church is the Benefice of Crick. Benefice means to benefit, Benefice of Crick. And you go to Oxford, you'll find Crick Road. In Oxford, you find a lot of roads named after the livings. So there was a big connection between the church and universities in medieval times.
What's the sister he said?
My mother's cousin is a baroness, sort of an aristocrat. I'm not using my real name, so I think it's owed to say that. Well, the thing is, Samuel, that there are two types of aristocrats in UK. One is hereditary peers, where your titles come down because your parents have got a title. And then the other kind of aristocrat is the life peers. So the government can make somebody a lord or a lady or a baron, and they will take their seat in the House of Lords. And
I can't relate to that.
So our second chamber, that is the House of Lords, and that comprises the majority of life peers. They've been appointed by the government, but they get a nice title. And you can choose your own name. So you can be Lord Brown, or you can be Baroness Smith of Eastwick, Hampstead, or wherever. And then you've got the hereditary peers. And as well as that, of course, the House of Lords has the bishops who can vote, and well, it used to be the law lords, but now, of course, it's the Supreme Court. Right. Not in the UK, so probably doesn't count. Well, the thing is, Samuel, if you are, you can still be an aristocrat and not be in the UK. It just means that you can't turn up at the House of Lords and claim your attendance money and have a vote. So your mother's cousin, let me have a guess, she's Dutch or German.
Well, she said his grandfather's Dutch. I think his mother's, I think his mother's Dutch.
Yeah, I'd say it's Dutch or German.
Dutch / I forgot already.
Yeah.
I didn't have a good memory, but he mentioned that last time. Yes. Yeah, Dutch Belgium. That is.
Oh, there we are. Oh, there we go. I'm not, apart from getting a table at a restaurant or getting better treatments at the check-in desk of an airline, I'm not totally convinced being an aristocrat does you any favours. And of course, reverse snobbery, it might not do you some. So tonight, Samuel, at 5 o'clock English time, you'll be probably fast asleep by then. 5 o'clock UK time. Priti Patel, who I think one day will be a Prime Minister of England, UK rather, United Kingdom. She's talking about the quarantine, the 14-day quarantine. She's setting out the rules, 14-day quarantine. Not that I think it will affect me if I go back to UK, because I'm a pharmacist, as you know, so I'm in the exempt category, and I do actually still work in the UK. So
regardless of your age.
Yeah, it's quarantine. It's nothing to do with your age. It's about risk of contagion. That's a good word, contagion, isn't it? In fact, there was a movie called Contagion, and I think everyone's watching it now.
It relates to that now.
Yeah.
Drop something there.
So Samuel, do you have a YouTube channel of your own?
I don't think he has.
No, I probably not.
No.
No.
Right. You see, for people there.
So I'm afraid we're very quiet tonight. Do not go gently into the night. Dylan Thomas, famous Welsh poet, talking about the death of his father. Oh, there we are. Samuel doesn't have a YouTube channel.
No, I don't think he has.
So Samuel, if you're studying political science and you've got, obviously you're interested in the English political scene because you've got family in England. Do you also follow the political scene of, well, obviously you must be very interested in the USA, especially as we've got an election year. I'm now totally convinced that there will be a landslide against Trump. I think.
So who's gonna be the opponent?
Biden.
Biden who?
Biden, B-I-D-D-E-N.
All right.
He's another guy that can't keep his hands to himself, but there we are. So
yeah, he doesn't seem popular.
Well, the last election was, which is the least unpopular, Hillary Clinton or Trump, and this time round it's probably going to be the same thing as the least unpopular, Biden or Trump. But Trump, there are people who will always vote for Trump, the rednecks. And there are people who always vote Republican. It's about the floating voter in the bottom. But this is my philosophy, Samuel. The American economy will be dire, it will tank. Stock market will tank, and as a result, people will vote with their wallets, and the floating voter in the middle will not vote for Trump. Some of his supporters won't turn out. Well, I see what you say, Samuel. I don't know if Trump will win. He's somehow anti-establishment, also be in the establishment. Well, he was anti-establishment before he was the establishment. Now he's president. In a way, he's the establishment. And if you look at most politicians who've been anti-establishment, when they become part of the fabric, they usually haven't done very well. They usually haven't done very well. Some have hung on for a long time, like Mugabe, Castro. Both of those hung on for decades, but neither of those you could say were successful. And ironically, Cuba's got the highest percentage of doctors per head of population, and they've got no money. Cuba sends lots of their doctors all around the world, and they've been in kilometres. They've been sending the doctors to help people, even sent to China to help with the virus there. So, I have a view that Trump is going to get badly beaten. And then, of course, he'd claim that he was cheated. He'd claim that it's a conspiracy, that he was robbed. Interestingly as well, if he is defeated, then I think we'll see a whole suite of suits against him, legal cases against him, And there's loads of things come out of the woodwork. Also, the other, yeah, Samuel, I see what you say about the polls are pretty close, but as one of our famous prime ministers, Harold Wilson, said, a week is a long time in politics.
Yeah, anything can happen.
But my gut feeling is that he would do badly. And of course, opinion polls are only a snapshot in the rear mirror. And I think, unless there's a miracle, I think Trump is doomed.
What?
Doomed.
Oh.
It's not going to be re-elected. It's not often that American presidents are not re-elected the second term, and occasionally, like Johnson, they haven't stood.
So I gather he doesn't like Trump.
Well, you have to admire Trump for. Oh, hello, Annabelle.
Hi, Annabelle. Musta. Good evening.
Where are you from, Annabelle?
She's Hong Kong. From Hong Kong? Yes, another person.
There you go.
Keep you company.
Yeah. Are you from Hong Kong, Annabelle?
She keeps commenting on one own, like almost all the videos, but I can't really remember. I think Hong Kong.
My wife thinks you're from Hong Kong, Annabelle. And
I apologize. I don't have a good memory.
And Samuel, I don't know if you've seen, but there's been consternation. That's a good word. Consternation in the stock markets of the world today, and in particular in Asia, and particularly in Hong Kong, because China has said that they're going to have a firmer hand in Hong Kong. And I think what China is worried about is now the lockdown is coming off in Hong Kong, that the pro-democracy and anti-China movement will start up again. Oh, you're in Dubai, that's right.
Oh, yeah, Dubai, all right.
Yeah, I really do apologize, Annabelle. We should have better memories. I knew you weren't in the Philippines. Now,
what time is it? Ano oras dyan, Seth?
One of the things that somebody that works in my office has got family in Dubai, and they said that Dubai got locked down again.
Really?
Yeah, they said Dubai got locked down. And
oh yeah, and they have they're very strict with like they're imposing fines to people 5:25 p.m. All right. I'll find that post with my cousin who's in Dubai.
So yeah, I've heard that Dubai has got locked down again. So Samuel, I'm sure you're interested in the Chinese dimension of politics, because they're the second nation in the world, if we're honest, after USA, and so there is some real concerns that China will clamp down on Hong Kong.
So they have a CCTV camera there to monitor people's temperature and
right.
social distancing in Dubai. What, brother?
Yes. So I don't know if you heard that, Samuel, but in Dubai they've got cameras in the street that can measure your temperature and also measure your distance and see if you're social distancing. So, of course, this is one thing that everyone's worried about, of course, is that what everyone is worried about is that with the lockdowns, we've got a big brother approach, And Big Brother, of course, comes.
Isn't what happened to her?
Yes, it's very sad. It's very, very sad the number of Filipinos that have died all around the world. We've had a lot of Filipinos die in UK. And of course, the reason we've got a lot of Filipinos die in the UK is they're at risk all the time because they're in touch with the virus, because an awful lot of Filipinos in the UK work in hospitals or they work in care homes. And of course, the hospitals and the care homes are where we've had the two epidemics of the virus. And it's very contagious. So we've had, and I know there's been a lot of Filipinos died all around the world. And it is very, very sad.
Samuel is asking, is monitoring temperature an effective way of testing for COVID-19?
Well, if you monitor temperature, you're going to pick anyone up with a high temperature. Whether they've got the virus or not is another question. They could just have a high temperature for any other reason. But yes, if your temperature's over 37.5, then you've got to be subject to suspicion.
Monitoring.
Yeah, it's what doctors call index of suspicion. So if you've got a temperature over 37.5, then there's a possibility that you've got the virus. So if you've got a temperature, then one way of trying to control it is saying, well, if you've got a temperature, you've got to isolate and then worry whether it's the virus or not later. So yes, having a high temperature is relatively. Samuel's part. Remember when we were counting the deaths in China, 17, 25, 41, seems kind of trivial now.
Yes.
Well, of course, if you look at the curves on World Meter or Our World in Data, which is very good, you'll see you've got two exponential curves, one for the Chinese infection up and down, and then for the world infection after it escaped from China. And there's no doubt about it. Once it left China, we lost the argument. There's a lot of suspicion that the Chinese figures weren't right. And perhaps one way you can tell they aren't right is you look at the curve for China and you look at the curves elsewhere in the world. And
look at their fines, darling. 50,000 dirhams, like it's over 500,000.
Yes. Yeah, my wife's just looking on her phone. The fines in United Emirates for breaking all the for breaking any of the things, interfering with devices or whatever, are horrendous. So yes, you've obviously got a very strict lockdown in the United Emirates. But if you look at look how successful some countries, Australia's been successful, and of course the cruise ships didn't do any favours. You look at Vietnam, Taiwan, done very, very well, and Korea, after a bad start, has got on top of it with a track, trace, and isolate.
Gosh, that should discourage people to gosh.
Anyway, I was reading with the Emirates email that said flights are opening up to Australia and UK with Emirates, was that the various rules and the quarantine don't apply if you're going in transit through the airport. Ah, very good.
I'll show you some more.
Yeah, put it down, show some more.
Travel plans in 2020 be like. So that's Sydney. I don't know what's at the bottom.
That's the Opera House.
Yeah.
That's dishes in someone's washing up dish.
Oh yeah. I couldn't figure it out. I thought it's a place. Yeah, it is dishes. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
By the sea.
the Sydney Opera House is famous, of course. So anyway, when we come to Australia, we go to Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra.
How far are they from each other? Or before?
Yeah. So expectation, Sydney Opera House. Reality, dishes in your washing up bowl. But tourism is going to have a big knock. It will recover. But if you remember, tourism had a big knock from 9/11. People wouldn't fly. Yes, I've been to Dubai. I've been to the Royal Meridian Hotel. Very nice.
Which part of Dubai are you, Annabelle? I don't know.
Yeah, I know Australia.
I've got cousins there.
Samuel, my 6-year-old daughter, will tell you that Australia is a continent. Yeah, because she said, Daddy, Australia's a did you know Australia's a country and a continent? So
why? Oh yeah, I was gonna ask why they call it the land down under, because it's at the bottom.
Yeah. So yeah, I know Australia's a big country. But I think you can get a ticket to fly internally. Yeah, Dubai's nice. The Gold Souk is good. The shops are good in Dubai. In the Gold Souk, I put a kilo of gold in my hands, and I couldn't believe how small a kilo of gold is. Gold, of course, is a very heavy element. Lead's heavy, mercury's heavy. Plutonium's heavy, but you're not going to be holding a kilogram of plutonium in your hands. Yes, so tourism is going to take a long time to recover, but it'll recover, it will. So there'll be some bargains, holidays. One uncertainty is, and a lot of my business friends will be discussing it with me, is will air flights be cheaper because they're desperate to fill the planes, or will they be more expensive because of social distancing and they can't put so many people on the plane, and also the extra costs? At least the oil is relatively cheap at the moment.
But it's gone
fuel
back.
costs.
When you travel and holiday, do you usually stay in a hotel or do you rent a house or condo?
Right, we stay in a hotel. We don't rent a house or apartment. When it was my sister's 60th birthday, I had a big party, and we hired in the Rhone Valley, no, Loire Valley, where all the chateaux are. In the Loire Valley, we hired a big medieval former abbey, little abbey, where all the monks used to be, and that was lovely. But usually we stay in a hotel. And I've stayed in some nice hotels, some really nice hotels in the Philippines.
Which would be your favorite hotel?
In the Philippines?
All over the world.
All over the world. Favorite hotels, right. The hotels in the French Riviera, south of France, are very, very good, but mega expensive. There's some lovely hotels in England. Some nice hotels in the Philippines, the upmarket ones. When we went to Palawan, that hotel on the beach in Palawan was very good. When we went to the Underground River, that was a good hotel. Yeah. And then the hotel in Taipei in Taiwan, the Mayfield Hotel, that was wonderful. That was really good. And our little boy, he loves the Japanese electric toilets. And so he was playing with shutting the lid with the electronics, the seat going up and down with the lid, turning on the water sprays and the hot air dryer. He had a wonderful time. But he kept pressing the alarm and they kept sort of rushing up or phone us everything all right. And Michael at the time was, what was he, 1.5?
Yeah,
about toddler anyway. So yes, I like the hotels in Taiwan.
Oh, have you been to Japan, Samuel? Did you say you've been to Japan?
I don't think Samuel's been to Japan. He's been to a lot of countries because he added them up. Yeah. Then there's some nice hotels in the Caribbean. But we normally stay in nice hotels.
What's the most expensive hotel you stayed?
Most expensive hotel? Oh, French Riviera. French Riviera, that's the most expensive. Just outside Nice.
I've been to an airport in Japan. Does that count? It's like you've been to a lot to Hong Kong airport, but not really outside.
So if you went to an airport in Japan, you must be in transit. So what airline?
Japan Airlines, I think.
Japanese Airlines, JL.
Or what's the other?
There's two main Japanese airlines.
Yeah,
they're both very good.
Is not.
Is it JNA?
One is no. There's another one.
JL.
There's Japan Airlines and there's
JNA.
I think it starts with letter N.
That'd be N for Nippon, of course. The Taiwanese airline, EVA Air, they're very good with children. And in fact, a lot of the airplanes are painted up Hello Kitty. I've never flown Qantas.
Yeah, that's one of the top airlines, isn't it?
Which one? Qantas Australian.
I think at one point they're voted the best airline.
Well, Qantas never crashes. They've got a wonderful safety record.
We like Cornwall.
Oh, yeah, we like Cornwall. Yeah, I know Megavissy. And in fact, at the moment...
It's Lake District is not part of Cornwall.
No, Lake District is the northwest. Yeah, Cornwall is very nice. In fact, at the moment, I'm doing some work for medical practice in Cornwall, and they're the most westerly medical practice, and their practice is the Land's End practice. So I'm actually doing some work for them at the moment. I've got a big following in Cornwall, and I get on very well with the Cornish doctors. So Cornwall's nice.
She said
Emirates Airline is very
best.
good. Yes, Annabelle, Emirates is very good. In fact, I'm flying Emirates in July, hopefully. Touch wood, fingers crossed.
It won't get cancelled.
Yeah, it won't get cancelled. I've had Oman Air cancel. I've had Emirates cancel on me once. Hopefully I'm flying Emirates Airlines back to the UK in July, and I'm flying from Angeles. One stop near, it's one less transfer, and so hopefully I should get Emirates back. I've flown Emirates, and Emirates are very good. They're very, very good. The staff are very, very proactive.
How would you compare it to Cathay and Oman Air?
Right. They're very different. Cathay Pacific are right. The hard offering of Cathay Pacific seats in Cathay Pacific are outstanding. Very, very good seats because they're herringbone and they're very comfortable and plenty of space. But the soft offering, otherwise the service of Emirates, I think is better than Cathay Pacific. Check-in, Cathay Pacific are outstanding on check-in, and customer service at Cathay Pacific is outstanding. But of course, I'm a gold member of Cathay Pacific. Oman Air are very, very good. And Oman Air don't go to Australia. Otherwise, all my friends would fly Oman Air to Australia. A lot of my English friends have got relatives in Australia. But Emirates is good. And the 380 is a lovely plane. And it's really good because you can, if you're upstairs on the 380, there's a bar there and you can sit at the bar or stand at the bar. Although with social distancing, I don't suppose they have that bar open. And you can have a drink and a snack, and it's really good.
Expensive Emirates to say for travel.
Well,
it always comes with a price, or whatever is quality comes with a price.
You always get a trade in between price and quality, and Emirates are more expensive. And going from the Philippines to Dubai, there's cheaper lines to go. But when our children go on Cathay, Cebu Pacific, or go short haul Philippines Airlines or short haul AirAsia, or Tiger Airlines, then the first thing they say is, where is the bed and where is the TV screen? And our 6-year-old Marianne, we went to Turkey with Jet2, which is a very good British holiday airline. And she said,
it's a package holiday, that was.
Yeah, and she said, I said, go on Jet2. Mm-hmm. And she said, have you got TV screens? I said, no. And she goes, not again. And so the first thing she asked, 6-year-old, are we flying business class or economy class, Daddy? Well, the short haul airlines, often they don't have a business class. And even if they do have a business class, you're still not going to get a bed or
it's not really worth it if you
No. So we fly economy class, short haul, and long haul, if only so the children can sleep, so we can all sleep and turn into a bed. We bite our lips and pay business class, so it is expensive. And the good airlines are expensive, the long haul airlines, but you get what you pay for. But of course, it's one thing if you're like me and coming towards retirement. But if you're young and working in OFW, then it's going to be a bit more difficult for you.
Yeah. Yeah, the children are talking like how much they miss the UK, how much they miss England.
Yeah, but you'll miss England.
Um,
And I've got English friends of mine that live in the Philippines, and they want me to bring back cheddar cheese, mature cheddar cheese.
which one is that?
That's a hard.
No, I'm talking which friend of yours.
Joe.
I thought he's flying to England.
No, it's not thinking of that.
Is that not anymore? All right.
Because he'd have to do the 14-day quarantine.
Ah, yeah.
The Mel Mowbray pork pies, which of course England's famous for its pork pies, and he wants me to bring back black pudding, which of course is a Scottish dish.
Do you eat black pudding, Samuel? I bet he does. You have to fly business class for a long flight, 24 hours to Europe, and economy would be hell. Especially if you're with children.
Yes. Yeah, that's the thing. 24 hours in economy is not right.
I mean, some people don't mind really, because like some people could sleep sitting up, sitting down, but I don't know. I can't sleep really unless I'm lying down.
No. It was quite funny. Last October, I was in England, and out of the blue, my wife needed to sign some papers, and they wouldn't trust Filipino attorneys. She had to sign them in front of an English solicitor, and literally only took about 5 minutes. But as a result, my wife had to come back to England. And she came back for a couple of weeks because it wasn't worth coming back just for a little time. And she said to me, "Why coming back business class or economy?" And I said, "Well, we can't have one rule for me and one rule for you." So Mercy came back business class Oman Air, and she's made a video of Oman Air, and you do enjoy Oman Air, don't you? You like it? Yeah, they're very good.
I like the food.
Yeah. Filipinos love their food. But Oman Air is good, but they don't go to Australia. And then somebody was telling me.
I was told of actually at one point when I was making a video.
Yeah, somebody was telling me a good way to go back to England is to get to Hong Kong and then fly Air New Zealand from Hong Kong to London, because Air New Zealand stop off at Hong Kong. So that is worth thinking about.
Right, so you're gonna get another airline from here to Hong Kong.
Well, I don't think I would, but it was just a thought.
Well, are you gonna still have your KLM flight in December?
Yeah. And then the other thing which I'm trying for the first time ever is Christmas. I'm flying to Manila with KLM, and there's a number.
Dutch, right? It's
Yeah, Dutch. KLM is Dutch, although they're in league with Air
Samuel
France.
might have flown KLM.
Yeah, Samuel might.
Well, what's your favorite airline, Samuel?
So while we're waiting for Samuel to reply, I'm flying Birmingham, which is very close to where I live, Birmingham to Amsterdam, that's just a little hop, and then KLM all the way to Manila. But the plane lands at Taipei and just refuels at Taipei, so that's all right. I'm not bothered about that.
So you're going to have 3 stops? Or 2 stops?
Well, the 3 stops for 2 planes, because you don't get out the plane. You don't get out the plane. Although I did once have to get out the Emirates plane at Angeles when I flew up from Cebu, because they couldn't get the plane started after the stopping to refuel, and so that I ended up missing the connection. But Emirates was very good, because when I got to Dubai, they said you can go to any other airport in the UK you want, which doesn't inconvenience you. So there we are. The other thing, of course, with Emirates is you get the chauffeur car. So in England, you get the chauffeur car.
Qatar, Ciao. Emirates or Etihad are pretty good.
Yeah, those are all,
Yeah,
they're
Qatar
all
has a
good
good
airlines.
reputation as well. You've never flown Singapore Airlines, have you?
Yes.
Singapore Airlines has got a reputation
Yeah.
as well.
Didn't you fly Singapore Airlines with me?
No, I know it's so.
Yes,
yeah,
you did. You
Oh,
have.
yeah, but it's South Air. It's the.
No, we flew Singapore. We went.
Oh yeah, we went.
Yeah,
I forgot.
we went to
Yeah,
Sri
went to Sri Lanka
Lanka
with Singapore Airlines. Yeah,
and
that's
went
right.
Singapore Airlines. Yeah,
I forgot, Alex. Sorry.
yeah.
Um,
So Singapore Airlines is very good, and Cathay Pacific, the Qatar, JL, Emirates, Etihad, all of those. I'd fly with all of those. Singapore Airlines is very good. Eva Air is very good. Thai is good. I wouldn't fly the Korean Airlines, so I'm trying the Dutch Airlines, see what they're like. They're very cheap, and the times were very good, very quick, very. Because the main thing on long haul is if you've got to change planes, you don't want to be sitting around the transit airport for 6 or 7 hours, and that's the problem sometimes. You know, you want to fly an airline, but the transit times aren't very good.
it's got to be like about 2 hours maximum.
Yeah.
Well, around that.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 maximum.
I mean, Cathay Pacific, many times I did one where they got 50 minutes from plane to plane, and that was a big rush, and you ended
No, you
up
don't want to do that again.
ended up pouring sweat down yourself. But no, so
Ideally 2 hours.
yeah, and then of course, if the plane's an hour late, well, then you're not so much worried about it. But yeah,
Because you can relax in a lounge, rather.
yes, Samuel, they're still giving out the model houses, and they're still giving out the model houses, and I'm looking forward to getting the model houses.
Even the plane.
No. They give you a
Somebody
porcelain.
Oh yeah, that's what you mentioned.
Yeah, a
before.
porcelain little house. You know, like the porcelain squirrels that we got
Yeah.
from Thailand.
Yeah.
These are porcelain little houses.
All right.
Yeah, they're lovely, Samuel, the model houses. Yes, they still give them out. And I'm convinced people buy KLM just for the little porcelain houses. It's what you call a...
Wow.
Or something like a self-liquidating premium offer. In other words, the cost of the offer you get back. You know, the cost of giving the model houses out, you get the business back. Yes, the model houses, the Dutch, was it Delft's Pottery? So yes, they still give them out. I don't know if KLM go to Australia. The other good thing is that because of the coronavirus, KLM retired all their very tired 747s. So that good old workhorse in the sky has been retired. Virgin Atlantic retired their 747s. So it's seen the back of the 747s, except for cargo. 747s are very good for cargo. But I'm not really too much bothered. It's about the bed.
Yeah.
And once, because I used air miles, I flew first class, and that's wonderful. But it's one thing to use air miles; it's another thing to pay the massive difference for it. And although I've been upgraded in the past to business class many times and been upgraded to premium economy many times, in the early days, I never been upgraded to first class.
You've been upgraded once.
Not to, no, I used air miles when I was up when I flew
First class, Cathay Pacific.
first class. Yeah, Cathay Pacific. That was air miles.
All right. Show Samuel the You still got the picture when you were the only one,
Yeah.
business class, the last time you flew out Cathay Pacific. Oh, I think I got it somewhere. What's up, darling? I think you sent it to me. What's up?
I get it now.
You got it. There you go. But it's not really big enough. The screen is not big enough. Let me have a look. There you go.
Right, Samuel, this is that's me, the only person in the business class cabin, and there were 5 people in the economy, and that was flying out of Philippines in February.
So that's how he knew that it's gonna be really bad that time.
Yeah, and I went through Hong Kong airport, and it was deserted. And so the first thing I did when I got home was I sold all my Asian shares, which was what I should have done, was sold every single share, but I sold all the Asian shares.
Yeah, because he didn't think that Europe is gonna be affected.
No, because I didn't think it was going to be affected at that time, because it was before I flew back, before we got the first step in England. But I knew it was bad in Asia, so I sold every single one of my Asian funds and Asian shares. And I said to everybody, if it gets here, it'll be bad. And as soon as it did get back here, I said to everybody, right, we won't be having lodge in April. I won't be doing the quiz in April. We won't be having church services in April. And everyone thought I was mad. But I did some figures and I said, right. And they said, oh, we've only got 200 cases now. And I said, yes. But I said, come April the 8th, we'll have 1 million cases. And that was a bit prescient. That's a nice word. That was a bit prescient because April the 8th was the peak of the cases, even with the lockdown. So being the only person in the cabin of the plane, the seat 17, I was the only one there. When I got there, they said, you can sit wherever you like. There was a thing called the paradox of choice, which you may know as a student. And so I've got a choice of 70 seats, the paradox of choice. So I said, I'll sit in the seat I was booked for, because I was thinking, well, which one's better? Too much choice. So you could have too much choice. Anyway, I had wonderful service because there was 4 people to serve just little old me. And they said, well, you can have 3 dinners if you like, because they said, we know you're the only person, but we got one of every choice for you if you want. But I wasn't greedy.
I bet a lot of people have cancelled their flights in that time.
Well, it was because the Philippines had locked down and they weren't letting foreigners in, but foreigners could leave when I left as February the 6th.
Oh, yeah, right, that's right.
Philippines locked down early. But Taiwan was even quicker. Taiwan stopped foreign flights January 31st. But Taiwan didn't trust China, and as soon as they heard on the 23rd that was a problem, Taiwan locked down really quickly, as did Vietnam.
Yeah, I think that was the.
And Australia was doing well, but then all the crew people come off the cruise ships. Plus, of course, they had people returning to Australia, and they brought back in the virus. But other than that, so are you still there, Annabelle? So we're not doing the games tonight, but we'll do the games another night because Mercy's got lots of handbags and lots of lip tints to get rid of. And I think we ought to do what's in the box because I like what's in the box.
Well, maybe, but we didn't have to show the box right.
Oh, I'll tell you what we could do. What's in the carrier bag?
Oh, I think Sam is lost because we only got one beer left there. It says.
Oh, Annabelle's still there. Are we saying good night?
Nice, you can still talk to Annabelle.
Well, Annabelle, is there anything you want to ask us about the Philippines as you're stuck in Dubai?
Matagal ka na dyan, sis?
Yeah. Is she?
I think someone's back. We got two back now. How long have you been in Dubai? Huh? Dati nasa Dubai ako 10 years. Ay, wait. Bakit ni Saudi? Ano ba yung sabi mo? Saudi? Ano ba yun? Oh yeah, you're still in Dubai. Abu Dhabi. Iba pala yun, di ba? Alright. Nagugulan ako minsan, United Arab Emirates. UAE. Di ba? Oh, we got 4 now. Hello. Welcome sa mga kakapasok pa lang. Same yun. Okay. Yeah, iba yung Abu Dhabi. Yung UAE, capital is Dubai. Tama ba? Tagal ka na din pala dyan, no? Actually, gusto kong pumunta sa Dubai. Pero yung mister ko, ayaw niya kasi sobrang mainit daw doon. Pero we'll see. Kasi may mga, mga, tawag dito, cousins doon. Musta, nag-sign up ka na sa mga dating sites na sinabi ko? Abu Dhabi, kapital ng Dubai. Alright. Sige, pag mawala na yung daming gustong puntahan na lugar pag wala na si Corona. Si Corona. Saan uwi mo? Kailan uwi mo dito sa Pinas? Try nyo si, oo nga, parang daming magagandang doon tawag dito. Daming magagandang lugar. Sa ano yung tinatry mo? Next year, God's will. Saan ka ba dito sa Pinas? Kasi Samuel is can. Oh, Samuel's back. Oh, you're gone. Nigel's just getting a drink. Naka-block ba? Kasi minsan may mga restrictions yan, di ba? Naka-block ba yung Asian Day? Oo, Cavite. Asian dating, ayaw dito mag-download. Pero pagpunta ka sa directly sa website, ayaw ba?
Pack. Refreshment, tagay. Cheers, mate.
Next time naman yung ko is Facebook groups ng mga AFAM. Kasi madami akong na Facebook groups na mga parang dating na rin.
So Annabelle saying she come back to the Philippines next year.
Oh, right. She's saying that those dating sites are blocked, and I've made a video of dating sites.
Yeah.
Some of those are blocked in the in the Middle East.
The dating sites are blocked in the Middle East.
I know, Facebook na lang, Facebook group. Yung next ko, or basta hindi man next pero one of the upcoming videos ko, mga Facebook groups.
Well, so the dating sites are blocked in the Middle East. Wonder what that is.
I don't
know.
Something to do with the government?
Well, it's something to do with religion and something to do with the government.
It's not like it's a...
It's not political.
It's a porn.
It's not political. It's not terrorism. I can imagine the Middle East blocking sites if they were, some of the more. I can imagine them blocking porn sites and porn web shows and cam shows, but dating sites, I can't see why they do
They
that.
must have a lot of restrictions. Okay. In this thing, when somebody do a live stream, and when your channel is monetized, people can do super chat. Super chat is like you can donate some money towards the channel that you're watching, but in Middle East they can't do that.
Well, no. Well, they'd be worried about terrorism. I can understand that.
Didn't know about that.
The only terrorist we got here is our little girl who's 6, and she terrorizes the local cats and dogs. If she sees a cat or dog, she runs at them screaming or throws a rock at them. I didn't teach her it. Look, where she's got that from, I don't know.
I think he's got pissed really with the way they make noise.
Yeah.
When they're in, we call the dogs in heat, but what do you call for the cats?
Is that
Do you call it the same?
yeah?
No.
Is that still the same on heat?
Yeah. Because they get really noisy when
Yeah.
they don't mate.
But I've no doubt that all of YouTube is monitored, and the various intelligence services all around the world, they monitor all social media. Um, they're monitoring it for terrorism and all sorts of things. And in the UK, at Cheltenham, we've got a GCHQ, and they monitor every single mobile phone call in the UK. But they've got automatic equipment, and the equipment lists out for words. And so
The video is not really good. Look, it's blurry. Annabelle is asking what time do we sleep?
right, Annabelle.
Morning.
Right, how have I filled the time in lockdown? Right, well, some of the time I'm teaching the children. Some of the time I'm playing stupid gardenscapes, which is a game on the phone. Some of the time I'm doing business in the UK. Some of the time I'm teaching the children. Some of the time I'm organising takeaway food. Some of the time I'm doing videos with my wife. My wife still spends a lot of time on the YouTube. I go to bed about 2:00. Mercy goes to bed about 4:00. I get up about 10:00 to teach the children and have breakfast. Oh, and I sit out in the garden as well, get the fresh air and the sunshine and the vitamin D that is so important. Vitamin D is essential to build up your immunity.
Yes. The lockdown has messed up with our body clock because I tried going to bed early. I couldn't sleep, so it's just useless tossing and turning. So get up and
Also, as well,
do something.
My daughter's running the business back at home, and she will phone me between 9 and 11:00 UK time, which equates to between 4 and 6:00 or Filipino time. And then I'm looking on the, I'm looking at my bank accounts and other business accounts on the phone. So, despite its lockdown, the time goes quick.
Well, if you get something to do, yes.
Yeah.
But
bit monotonous.
We're
yes.
night owl, really.
So, are you back at college, Samuel? And Annabelle, are you working, or you locked down with family in Dubai?
But before the early stage of lockdown was doing a lot of courses online.
Yeah, you're doing all your online courses. Oh, and then
digital courses.
Yeah, and then I look at the news as well.
So yeah. Well, I think we're making the most of it, really. Although I must admit, there are some things that I should be doing that I'm not really doing.
Well, we're not going out shopping, other than Mercy goes out for food. Because I'm a senior, I'm not allowed out the house.
Yeah. But I'm aware that a lot of people are making their YouTube channel because of the lockdown. Soon. What does it mean soon?
It means he's starting his college.
All right. Okay. That's what your question is. What month do they usually open? Is it September? Oh no, it's September. I think we have different system there. Because UK usually starts on what? September, right?
Well, UK
or August.
Universities have a big break in the summer in the UK. Universities will finish June late June, and they won't go back till the beginning of October, so they have a big break.
Oh no.
When I was a university student, I used to love the summers. All of July, all of August, all of September off. Wonderful. I miss being a student. Best days of my life. University, best days of my life. No responsibilities,
Yeah,
wine, women, and
that's-
song.
That's what I thought. You're how do you call this? Well, happy-go-lucky or well,
Happy-go-lucky,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed being a student. No worries, no responsibilities.
Mm. So enjoy it, someone.
Yeah, you enjoy it somewhere. You got the rest of your life ahead of you. What was Annabelle saying?
She didn't say anything yet. She was just saying, "Oh, so late." That means when she was asking us what time we
Yeah.
how do you call this?
Well, it's only 10:15
You
here.
see that? I see this thing first before there. Try to visit Dubai.
Yeah, there's I've been to Dubai twice, but we will go again, but it's a bit hot and
She said come in December because it's cold.
oh, they were going in December, it's cold. And then there's a water park as well. The children would like the water park.
It's funny because our son kept saying that he's got a dream. He's dreaming about a beach in this supermarket and the beach.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is our 4-year-old boy.
Oh.
He's 4 next month. So poor Marianne had her birthday in April in lockdown, but I'm hoping that Michael won't, and then so we can go on the beach for Michael.
I'm not really keen on going to the beach, darling.
Well, it's plenty of social distancing.
Nah, still better to stay at home.
Yeah, this is the trouble. The lockdown has scared everybody all around the world not to leave their house, and that's why we're going to have a depression, and that's why there'll be a depression in USA, and that's why the economies will do bad, and that's why President Trump will not be re-elected.
Yeah, but I think that's still the best thing to do, really, if you want to be safe.
Well,
What would you say?
children don't die from coronavirus,
Well,
and you're young.
yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that you can still get coronavirus.
Well, you can't hide for the rest of your life.
I know you can, but then
Well,
if you can just try to limit to expose yourself to.
well, that's what people will do, of course. So people won't go on public transport. But if we go in the car, we drive up to the beach, we go and sit on the beach, and we're 10 meters away from anybody else.
I don't know. We'll see. But now it's summer here. Temperature 40. Oh my God, and it can go up to 50, right? In the summer, I think 50 something.
I have a feeling. Oh, of course, in Dubai, you've just had Ramadan, haven't you?
Yeah.
And Eid is this weekend.
Eid al-Fitr.
Eid is this weekend. Eid's when they celebrate the end of Ramadan. There are big parties. But of course, they can't have big parties with social distancing.
Yeah. A lot of what do you call this? Yes, 45, sometimes 50. That's too hot.
That is just too hot for me. That would crease me.
It's not good for somebody with hypertension.
No.
He is hypertensive, although it's not,
Well,
it's well managed, but
that's well managed. I measure my blood pressure every day, And Marianne is very interested in medical things, watches me measure my blood pressure. Yeah, my wife's laughing at Samuel's comment there.
So he was really serious when he said that.
Oh yeah.
Lysol? This is a
Lysol.
disinfectant.
Yeah, Lysol. The
That was crazy, isn't it?
Oh, there'll still be a big chunk of people who will vote for President Trump. They'd vote for him if it turned out he was an alien. He might still be. So there we are. It's
Ramadan till 24. Suddenly the comment just came up. Yes, Ramadan till May 25 last day. That's just 3 days from now.
There's no doubt about it. The whole world is scared. Half the world is scared to go out of their house, and which is why lockdowns have been so effective. But I just feel for the people who suffer because of lockdown, the people that can't afford to be, that need to be working and earning, and the people who work to get food for that day, especially in the third world.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, Trump will blame the Democrats for everything, but in my opinion, Samuel, the Democrats will get all of their vote out. The Democrats will win a lot of the floating voters, and some of the Republicans would rather cut off their arm and vote Democrat, but they might very well stay at home. So I think, we'll soon see if I'm right in November, but I think Trump will do very badly, and he will lose some. He will lose some of the states.
Yeah.
But New York, no way is New York going to go Republican. California won't go Republican, but it's about the swing states. You probably know more about it than I do, but I think some of the swing states are going to be the important ones. But I think we will see. I think we will see a change to the political landscape because of coronavirus. What's the effects of coronavirus on the worldwide political landscape? I don't know. That'd be probably a good subject for a thesis, Samuel. The effects of the coronavirus on the political landscape of the world. Is it going to push people to be populists, or is it going to push people to the more left-wing social democrat side of things? I don't know. And of course, doing badly doesn't necessarily reflect on the government. In other words, Belgium has got a terrible case fatality rate. They've just labelled everyone who's died more or less as COVID-19, and it doesn't. They don't appear to be getting a lot of stick. And Sweden, everyone thinks the government's wonderful because they haven't had what they've done is have a very, very moderate lockdown. Well, not really a lockdown, but stopping big gatherings, but shielding the elderly. And of course, Sweden also has very high rates of people living on their own. But of course, what they didn't do, and they've apologised, is they hadn't written on the care homes. And in fact, that's a real issue that has caught everybody out. The devastation in care homes has been horrendous. Italy, 60% of the deaths are in care homes. In America, it's about 40% of the deaths are in care homes. And in England, where the government is under a lot of stick and pressure over it, about 28% of deaths in care homes, and in fact 60% of the care homes haven't had an infection, but still the government's in big trouble for it. And I think where the government went wrong is very early on.
Do you know how US will do their elections if it is physical election? That will probably advantage the Republicans. So far, Republicans are more likely to ignore social distancing and not become push.
Well, Samuel, that's a very good point, because there is some suggestion that they're going to have different voting methods. And of course, President Trump is very against postal voting and long distance voting because he thinks it's going to be cheated. And I think you're right. How you actually do an election will have an effect on the turnout. In the UK, they always used to say we want it to rain and be terrible weather on election day because that will inhibit the Labour Party turnout, because the Conservatives are much more likely to turn out. What the truth of it is, I'm not sure. You may have seen some papers on it, but yes, the method of how elections are held obviously does have an effect. And of course, the other thing as well, mind you, in Australia, you've got to vote, haven't you? If you don't vote in Australia, you get fined. I've forgotten that. Yeah, in Australia, if you don't vote, you get fined. You can go along and write in your paper, you're a load of idiots, but you have to actually go and cast your vote or you get fined in Australia.
How much is the fine?
I think it's 100 Australian dollars, but Samuel will know exactly what the fine is for not voting in Australia.
Sweden's COVID death rate is 44%. Maybe not so successful. Maybe they are not touching every case.
But I have absolutely no doubt, Samuel, that every country in the world is not capturing every single case, with the possible exception of countries that are really on top of it. Taiwan maybe, well, even probably Taiwan and Vietnam are probably not catching every single case. The thing is, once you've got asymmetric cases and people who get the infection with no symptoms, you're not catching all the cases. But Sweden has had a very, very bad death rate in their care homes. They didn't really think about that. Care home deaths in America have been horrendous. Italy, horrendous. The other problem with the USA is they have these mega care homes for the elderly. Yeah, Samuel's.
Yeah, Australian voting is compulsory.
Yeah, I mean,
very small fine.
Oh, it's not.
People...
So it's probably not as much as even $100 US, but.
Well, it shows a lot of this COVID-19. It shows a lot of colors of the politicians, really.
Yes.
How they handle and manage the situation.
There'll be a lot of controversy over it, whether politicians have done well or not. And of course, we won't really know till it's over how well they've done.
You're right.
Yeah. But I would think the Brazilian Prime Minister is doomed. One would have thought so.
Who?
The Brazilian Prime Minister, whose name begins with a B, and Brazil's got a hell of a problem. Big problem. Dubai, United Emirates, I think, Annabelle, like Oman and Singapore, where they've got a lot of young migrant workers, have got very, very high numbers of cases, but very low numbers of deaths because the migrant workers, by definition, aren't old. And so Singapore, Oman, and United Emirates have got very high case rates because all the immigrant workers, a lot of them in dormitories. And so we've got a lot of infection, but the case fatality rates are relatively low. And if you look at the deaths in Singapore, Oman, and United Arab Emirates, the number of deaths is very low for the number of cases, because of the people who are getting the disease. Because COVID-19, of course, is a disease of the elderly, not of the young. And it's ironic, it's the young that are suffering to shield the old. But they haven't done very well because with the care homes has been disaster.
Well, because you have a lot of care homes in the West, whereas in the East it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Care homes don't exist in the East because of two reasons. One is because of the age demography, and the other thing is that in the East, the culture, Asians look after the elderly. Whereas in the West, everyone bangs them away in a care home. My friend Joe, who's a pharmacist like myself and a mason like myself, who lives in Tarlac, he says he'd rather die in the ditch than go into a care home. And I think an awful lot of people.
Well, that's because he's been to the Philippines, but has he not been to the Philippines? He won't say that. You know, he's lived here, he married a Filipina.
Yes, but I've no doubt there's an awful lot of people will be very resistant to going into a care home
after this
outbreak. Yes, my father was. Well, we had to put my father in a care home when he was 91. He did very well. He got to 91, but he was visually impaired, so he couldn't look after himself, couldn't live on his own, even with carers coming in. So what we did with my father, being visually impaired, we said, look, Dad, you're going to have to live in a hotel for the rest of your life. And he thought that was good. And he thought, his hotel's really good here. So that's what we did. We told him he was going to go into a hotel for the rest of his life.
But he knew that it's not going to be a hotel.
I don't know.
Well, did he not ever ask you?
Well,
I think he knew.
Well, yes, but he started to get dementia towards the end. He did really. He was bright. My dad was bright man, very bright man, right up to he was 91. But he lost his eyesight, and he started to go backwards. And then he wasn't the man he was after 91. He was in the home.
Better stay at home.
Yeah, there's Annabelle. Better stay at home. But yes, he died 5 weeks short of his 98th birthday. So yeah, he had a good innings, and he was going to the gym until he was 86, and he was playing bridge until he couldn't. His eyesight was so bad he could distinguish in hearts and diamonds and spades and clubs, but he was playing bridge till probably about 83.
I have a grandmother who is 98, been in a nursing home for 7 years now. She seemed to be mortal. That's a good age.
Where's she?
Huh?
Which nursing home is she in?
Well, probably Australia. I don't know.
Oh, Samuel's talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, Samuel. Oh.
Where is she? In the UK or Australia? Or probably in what? In how do you call that? Netherlands.
She could be in Netherlands, she could be in Australia, or she could be in England.
Do you wish to live that? I do. I don't really wish to live that till that age.
Well, I've known quite a lot of people in their 90s, and everyone in their 90s always says the same thing to me. It's no fun being in your 90s. You're in God's waiting room, you're very decrepit, and it's no fun being over 90. In Australia. Oh, well, there we are. Well, she'd be safer in a care home in Australia than in a care home in UK or Belgium or the Netherlands, because all those three countries have had decimated is the right word. In fact, the amount of deaths in care homes is tremendous. In the UK, in 6 weeks, in care homes, there were 50,000 deaths.
That's a lot.
And of the 56,000 deaths in the 6 weeks, 15,000 of them would what you normally expect, because people die in old people's homes.
I'm not being, but would you rather? I mean, I probably not better say that.
You need to lift your head a bit, Don. Yeah. Well, but a good thing is being married to a Filipina. Well, there we are. Another grandmother's 91, still drives and walks pretty well. Amazing. Well, there we are, Sam. We've obviously got good genes, so you've got a long life ahead of you.
Yeah, that's a pretty good age.
Yeah, that's a good old age.
Well, they're probably into healthy lifestyle.
Yes. Well, I should think in Australia, you've got fresh air and you've got sunshine and you've got good medical care and no reason whatsoever not to live to a long age.
Well, I think Westerners has got longer life. Lifespan or
Life expectancy is the term you're looking for. Yeah.
Like.
The people with the longest life expectancy are the Japanese. The Japanese have got the world's longest life expectancy. And also, because of the Mediterranean diet, the other people with long life expectancy were the Italians. But of course, it bit them in their bottom, so to speak, because of course, the virus killed all their old people that had lived to a long old age. Whereas, of course, Asian countries, they don't have the life expectancy, so they haven't got that proportion of elderly people. So you'll get lower case fatality rate in Asian countries because you've got less elderly people. Pro rata. Demography of it. Probably gone 2 hours, 16 minutes.
Hmm?
I said 2 hours, 16 minutes.
All right, gotta go now.
Well,
getting tired.
No, I'm going to have some carrot cake. So, good night.
Okay. I forgot you got carrot cake.
Yeah, carrot cake. Yeah, we have. It's a really, really nice restaurant here, and they make really, really nice carrot cake. So we have it delivered. Bit extravagant, especially in lockdown. So what? Not spending anything on anything else. So there we go. So good night to Dubai. God bless you and keep safe. Enjoy the end of Ramadan, Eid. Good night to Samuel in Australia. Thank you once again for your questions and your support. And we look forward to playing some games and talking to you all again. And anyone else who's just listening, welcome to you all. Good night.
Right. Well, we might be doing another live tomorrow. We'll see, but just look out for that. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Annabelle. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Bye bye.